In this video, I'm going to look at a two-variable data table. And so with the two-variable data table, you can look at changing two different amounts in your spreadsheet to project one outcome. So, for example, in this particular data table, we're looking at different sales volumes and different sales prices for the item, and the outcome that we're looking at is net income. So here you can see the impact of selling your items for $15 an item. You're not going to have positive net income. When you get over to $20 per item, in the higher sales volumes, you start making money. So this is a useful tool as well. It's just that you cannot project as many outcomes as you can with the one variable data table. So in this one, you've got the row input cells and the column input cell. So this one is set up a little bit differently than what we're used to. So let's switch over to the workbook and set up the data table. So in this particular data table, I'm going to, in column E here, enter my different sales volumes. And I'm going to do that exactly the same way I did it for the one variable data table. I'm going to start out with 10,000 and increase that by 5,000 up until I have a sales volume of 35,000. So I'm going to start out with 10,000 and 15,000 in E15 and E16. Then I'm going to use my fill handle to create a series like that. Then my other variable is the price per unit. So on price per unit, I'm going to start out with $15 and move that up by increments of $5 up from $15 to $35. And again, I'll use the fill handle to create a series. Okay, there's one last thing I need to do, and that is I need to reference the result cell in the upper left-hand corner of my data table. So the result we're wanting to look at in this particular table is what impact will the different sales volumes and the different prices per unit have on net income. So in this cell, I'm going to put in a formula to reference the amount in B26. And then I'm going to use a custom format to hide that number that I just, to hide that amount that just resulted from my little formula. So I'm going to hide that cell by using a custom format that puts units sold in that cell. And you'll recall in Appendix A, when we did that, we used custom formats. So you're doing just the same thing. So then the structure of my data table is set up. I'm going to go ahead and select E14 through J20. And then I'm going to go back to the Data tab to the What If Analysis button to Data Table. So this is a two variable data table, so I'm going to have row input cells and column input cells. So the prices are in the row, and in my actual spreadsheet, that particular item, the price per unit, is found in cell B5. So B5 is what I'm going to enter for the row input cell. The column input cell in this particular data table refers to the units sold because they have been listed in columnar form. And so the cell in my actual spreadsheet that refers to is B4, where the units sold are listed. And it looks like I forgot to click in the column input cell there. And make sure that you're clicked in the right spot before you start clicking the other things. So I should have B5 as my row input cell and B4 as my column input cell. I'm then going to click OK, and there's my data table, and as you can see, it predicts what the net income will be at the different sales volumes and the different prices. So then the management could take this information and make some decisions about what to charge for the item, how many we can reasonably produce, and so forth. So that's a two variable data table.